Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Unsafe Building meeting, November 15th, 2023. Meeting begins at 5:32. Could we please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mr. Rosenich?
Present.
Ms. Dessauer?
Present.
Ms. Sheehan?
Here.
Mr. Deutmeyer?
Here.
Ms. Abernathy?
Present.
Mr. Gatto?
Here.
Ms. Hyduk is present. Mr. Austin?
Present.
Okay. And we have nominations up for a vice chair. Does anybody have a nomination? I didn't know, no.
I'll nominate Donna for the vice chair.
Me?
Well, either I'm nominating you or you're nominating me, one of the two.
Okay, so we have a motion for Donna by Heather.
Yeah.
Do I have a second?
I'm sorry?
Second?
Second.
Okay, Donna seconds. Roll call?
Mr. Rosenich?
Here.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Ms. Sheehan?
Yes. Carries 3-0. Donna, you are vice chair. Let's see. Minutes. Do we have a motion to waive the reading of the minutes from September 20th, 23?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Heather. Can I have a second?
Second.
Donna, roll call.
Mr. Rosenich?
Yes.
Ms. Dessauer?
Yes.
Ms. Sheehan?
Yes. Vote carries 3-0. Active Unsafe, first one, 11104 West 133rd Avenue, Raha.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Please state your name and address for the record.
I'm Andrew Reha, 427 West Oakley Avenue, Lowell, Indiana, 46356.
Okay. And where are we at with this?
He's got most of the house down. I think he's just working on the foundation.
Okay, okay. Most of the house is down then.
Yeah.
That's
So,
good.
Yeah, there's no...
That was a big undertaking.
Yeah, he's been, I think, making pretty good progress. He's been there, working on it every day except for the weekends.
Okay. Tony, have you been out there?
Only last week. Was he working on it last week?
Oh, I saw him out there working.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think just the front was left last week.
Oh, okay, that may be why, 'cause
Oh, so yeah, if you just looked at it from the street,
Right.
you probably wouldn't have noticed, but it was, I think where he left off Friday was, he had the front to about maybe a quarter to a third of the
Okay.
house back.
Okay.
I was pulling out of CVS on Friday, and I saw him
You
tearing
saw
up the back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, so he had all
Good
the
news.
back tore down, and then, I know actually, I just came through, before the meeting tonight, and he's got the front down. So he's just got the foundation stuff.
Very good.
Okay, that's great
I'm
news.
sure you're happy to be moving on.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, feel better too. I was there this weekend to cut the grass, and I was about ready to start the mower and cut the grass, and some lady pulled in and started walking around. And I was like, "Who are you?" She's like, "I've been watching them tear it down from across the street at CVS." I'm like, "Okay." Like,
Welcome.
gotta go.
Yeah, right. You're not welcome here.
Yeah, but so I was like, you know, didn't feel too comfortable with that.
Oh,
You know, just 'cause, I mean,
right.
you know, he's got half the house down.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but yeah, so at least now the front's down, so,
Kelly.
you know, I feel better about that. And
Yeah.
Good. Good.
So, the birds, are the birds?
I believe they're gone.
Oh,
I know, I've been talking to the guys there, I think it was last week, the one guy told me it'd been a couple weeks since he saw any vultures flying around,
okay.
and I checked 6 or 8 times, and I haven't found the birds upstairs.
Okay, well, that's good news too.
So I'm assuming they're probably gone, thankfully. So I'm gonna do a final check, and then probably this weekend I'm gonna be looking at closing up the windows.
Okay,
Because I think I should be,
should be okay to do that.
yeah, because, you know, the lady said once I saw there was no signs of activity, that I was free to clean up and close up,
Okay, okay.
so.
So does anybody
What do we need to do with this at
Yeah.
this point?
Well, if the house isn't quite down yet, probably just need to defer it one more month. We can do a final check through as long as everything clears out. I mean, even if Tony's gone out and checked it off on the permit, then, I mean, there's.
Yeah, 'cause I know when he's, obviously I gotta wait for him to be ready, but I know we'll have to call for the inspection and stuff, so, and get that scheduled.
So if we
Tony,
defer,
is the garage itself unsafe?
The garage needs repairs, but he did say he was thinking about fixing the garage.
Yeah, I think I'm
So if
gonna
we can get
repair it.
a plan together on that and get a permit pulled, permit will be good for 12 months, so, I mean, unless you guys wanna do something different, then
Oh, that's good.
that's,
I don't feel the garage needs to stay on as long as the house is down, that's my thought.
Well,
So if that's your pleasure, I would say at least a deferral the next month. We make sure the house is cleared, and then this matter could be removed, assuming everything checks out.
And if Tony goes out in the meantime, we can just,
Yeah, then you can report that back to
Yeah.
you guys. We don't need to drag Andrew up
Yeah.
here to report that.
that's my point, is just for you not to have to waste your time coming back if that's the case.
So, yeah, that's fine, and I can come back if,
were you
run into
keeping the sewer or plugging the sewer, or what was?
it. We're capping it.
You are capping, okay, so
Yeah.
you'll have to call Public Works and they'll do.
Yeah, and that's the second, and I got the information, so I know I gotta call them to
Okay.
schedule the inspection, and he's gonna open it and cap it.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay,
So, yeah, which actually, I don't, I already called once just to ask a couple questions to make sure that we were gonna get it done properly.
okay,
And there was a gentleman, actually I believe his name was, he called me back that I talked to.
Yeah. okay, perfect.
Yes.
So,
If the pleasure of the board is to defer this, I ask that you also extend the building permit until December 20th. That's our next unsafe meeting, because the permit does actually expire today.
Maybe the demo permit, right?
Yeah, the demo permit.
you do have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to defer this to our next meeting on December 20th. Ashley, is that what you said?
Yes, ma'am.
With the understanding if the house should come down beforehand, and Tony lets us know that, then we'll just remove you from the agenda.
Okay. No, that's fine. So then if I get a good, approval on the inspection, then I don't have to come back and we'll be fine.
That's my understanding.
Extending the, demo
Yeah,
permit.
and extending the demo permit to the
Okay.
20th as well.
Okay, all right. We have a motion? I thought I didn't have to do it anymore. Oh, I second. Okay. Roll call?
Ms. Rosanich?
Yes.
Ms. Sensauer?
Yes.
Ms. Sheehan?
Yes. Carries 3-0. Will be deferred, and again, if it's done, Tony checks off, you're good, okay?
Thank you.
You have a good night.
Thank you, sir.
You too, and I'm sorry, when is
December 20th.
the 20? Okay, I'll put on my calendar just in case.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Thanks for getting it taken care of.
You're welcome, thank you.
Okay, next we have 9320 West 142nd, WNI Casasas LLC, formerly Midland Trust Company.
Good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
Good.
Name and address for the record, please.
Percy Martin, 2701 West 45th Avenue, Gary.
Okay. And what's happening with the house?
So there's been some issues with the structural engineer, which is the last thing that you guys requested. And I know Tony had given me, well, all the inspectors had given me a list of the items that they wanted inspected. And I guess the engineer just wanted it in writing from you guys. And I know, I'm not sure who I spoke to, but I guess there was some back and forth with the engineer. And he just thought, he just wants it in writing from you guys, not from me, what it is that he needs to evaluate so that he can do that report and we can move forward.
Ashley, have you been speaking with anybody?
I spoke with him, I got the information from him, I passed it on to Tony.
I did speak with him, and he asked what we were looking for. I explained to him that there was a demo permit issued for the interior so that the structure could be exposed, and that way the engineer would be able to see that there's a lot of hokey work that was done in there that's gonna need to be modified, redone, something like that. He said he didn't have any real information to go by. He was just contacted that he needed to check this property out and didn't have details on it. I told him we don't really make lists as far as, what exactly needs to be done, because everything was still covered up with drywall, so.
Who's your engineer?
Looking for.
Joe Scarowitz.
I'm confused that there's so much confusion.
Yeah, me too. So so he hasn't come out and inspected the
He
property?
has not.
Is there a reason that he hasn't come out to take a look at it?
Because he said he wanted to hear directly from.
I mean, if he's the engineer, I would think he would come
He
out
would
and
be
know what
here.
he's looking at, and know what he would need to do.
Right. I mean,
In my
you can tell
mind,
in the pictures.
correct me if I'm wrong.
He would need everything exposed so he could see what he's looking at as far as, you know, what was modified in the
So,
past.
have we hired anybody to expose what's in there so we can see what's happening?
So, and I have plenty of guys that can, that can do that. You know, I can't do it until, you know, I have a time from him that I know for sure that he's gonna come and inspect it.
Well, I mean, he can't inspect it until you have somebody take all the drywall and everything down so everything can be exposed. So we would need somebody in there to do that.
I believe Olson was hired as the general contractor.
Correct.
So they're the ones technically that pulled the permit for the interior demo, which I believe was only a 30-day permit.
It expired October 15th.
Right, right, so that would have to be either reapplied for or extended, and Olson has.
This one has just been a mess.
Right,
Yeah,
It's been a mess.
has the go-ahead from us at least to go in there and do what they're trying to do.
Do that.
It's just, you know,
So, is Olson still who
Yes.
they're planning to use? So they
Yes.
need to come back in and pull another permit? Is that what,
Yeah.
correct?
Can we extend it at this point, or?
My recollection of what happened last month was it was set to expire at our
On the
last
15th,
meeting.
yeah.
Nobody appeared, so the extension was never asked for and thus never granted. So at that point in time, that permit is now expired.
It's
So we can't
expired.
extend
And
it,
you'd have to
yeah.
go through and restart.
Okay, well, I mean, that would be the first step, correct?
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
So you need to have Olson come back here and reapply for another permit.
I would also encourage the town to put that, a 30-day permit, again.
I think that's what it was
Yeah,
before,
right.
we were giving them extensions, so long as we're getting some progress. And this kinda,
Yeah,
It's gone back and
it's
forth now.
ping-ponging, it's not
Since,
going anywhere.
like June or July.
It's lateral,
Right.
yeah. So, I would agree, I mean, you guys made a motion, but I would agree 30 days, that's it.
New permit, and open up the house.
Well, I'm not really sure what motion to make, because we're kind of just waiting on him to, I mean, do we just
I mean-
defer it again? Because right now we're waiting on him to pull another demo permit.
Yeah, you can, if you're gonna defer it for 30 days with those instructions, I would suggest that it be sort of a final extension.
Right.
The marching orders we received last month were to have the title ran and demo orders prepared and all that.
So we do have
We have
that.
everything ready to go.
Okay,
So it's up to you if you wanna move forward with that, if you wanna give them one more chance. This has toiled for a while
Well, right, I mean,
way too long.
but it was a nightmare before he got involved.
It was.
Right,
Yeah.
and let me say, when I came here originally, I mentioned that I was highly motivated to take care of this. This house cost me $109 a day. And so I'm losing, it was supposed to be on the market already.
Sure.
You know, I'm not, you know, local to this area. I have 4 active projects north of here. And so, you know, when, you know, I keep hitting roadblocks, it's a little bit difficult for me to send resources. And that's, I guess that's why I was confused why, because I know the list that you gave me, why there just couldn't be communication directly with the engineer.
Well, I think you're skipping a step, because the first step is just to have the demo done.
Right.
Inside demo,
So
right? Yeah.
what's the holdup on that?
Well, I just want to make sure that it was actually going to get inspected. There's not much that needs to be demoed. The house is pretty much open as it is.
Then 30 days should not be a problem?
There's not a problem at all.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think you still need to make a motion.
No, I'm ready, if you're ready.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I'd like to make a motion to defer for 30 days with the understanding that you're gonna call the town and you have to get a new demo permit. And, I mean, at this point, if you're in a rush, I mean, we're obviously encouraged as well to get this taken care of, so that shouldn't be a problem. As soon as the demo's done, then your engineer can come out and we'll have what we need and we can move on.
Okay.
And
I
just for
second.
clarity for that, the demo permit that gets applied for, are you instituting any sort of time limitation on that?
The 30 days,
Okay.
and that's it. No more extensions on it. That's my motion.
I second.
Roll call?
Ms. Rosanna?
Here, yes.
Mrs. Sauer?
Yes.
Ms. Sheehan?
Yes. Carries 3-0. We will see you at December 20th meeting.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have 7308 West 138th Place, Paris.
That's fine, we have to.
It's online. Okay.
I'm here, Joe Parrott, 4218 Gardner Road, Crestwood, Kentucky.
Okay, where are we at with this one, Mr. Parrott?
It's still listed, we've had lots of interested parties, there was one serious offer, but that one fell through, so we're in the same boat, I'm doing my best to sell.
Okay.
Last month, we had the title work ran and had a initial demolition order, created, or the order, and I will let Ryan speak further to that one.
Yeah, my recollection of last month's meeting was sort of a 30-day extension. The directives to us were to prepare the demo order, because he wanted to still list it. We still needed the title back to give another 30 days to see what it progressed. At this point, it doesn't appear that there's any offers that he's accepted. So, you know, you can give him more time if you want to. Otherwise, we have the order prepared, and what we had, what had been discussed was at least getting it to the point where the order is issued. Then we have the second, you know, the affirmation order. Assuming that were ultimately issued, then it would be recorded. You know, so it'd at least show up for whomever any potential purchasers are in the future. This is another one that's kind of hung on for a while.
No.
I was unable to be at a few of the meetings, but Mr. Parrott, am I correct that originally you wanted to repair this property?
Well, initially, I just wasn't sure what I was gonna do, to be honest with you, but the initial order for you all was to take the garage down, which we did. I pulled the permit to do that and clean up the property, we did all that. And then the more I looked at everything, it just made more sense to put it on the market. And if I lived closer, I was thinking about fixing it, but it's just too much travel for me right now. So, and then I had the health issue that kind of entered into that too earlier last year. So, you know, it's been listed since around September, early September, late. There were some issues with the realty thing or whatever in August, but we got it listed. I lowered the price, and we're trying to get it sold. So, bottom line is that's my ultimate goal right now, to do that. And you know, I've been upfront with the realtor. She knows the situation. So, you know, we're just trying to get it sold.
The discussions and stuff are with, going through with the demolition is so that, like Ryan said, we could get it recorded and provide additional protection for the town, and so we're not running into the same scenario that we ran into with our previous one where they were supposed to disclose, and then all of a sudden they're, oh, I didn't know it was unsafe.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of the theory is we're trying to learn from our mistakes here, and to protect yourselves and the town if this ultimately gets sold, because we don't want somebody to come in and then we're back to square one saying they don't know anything,
Right.
and then it's the same rigmarole.
Right.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
Well, again, I need to know what that means, because, you know, a potential buyer, some of them have been interested in fixing it. I've been here, you know, I've had interested parties that have looked at it both ways, you know, as to depending upon what their interest is. As to what, you know, how they want to progress, but.
Legally, sir, you have to disclose that this is part of an unsafe.
No, I understand that, that's not an issue, but what I'm getting at is, I mean, when you're saying this about demolition, I think we discussed it last month, it's not like next week they're gonna come in and try to demolish it or something. I mean, if a buyer wants to fix it, I want that option for them, as long as they're dealing with you. I mean, I'm disclosing everything.
Yeah, I would say generically.
Just so I understand that.
Generically, the affirmation order, if the initial order were issued tonight, you would have until December 20th or 19th to knock it down. We'd have the hearing at our next meeting, which is December 20th. If it wasn't knocked down then the affirmation order would be issued, which wouldn't allow, you know, the town couldn't do anything until that order was issued. So then you're in the middle of winter, so you would probably very likely have plenty of time to sell this thing, and let, you know, your buyers decide what they want to do with it.
Well, I mean, but the way you just described it, you're saying that if I don't have it knocked down by the 20th, I don't understand that.
Wow.
That doesn't.
That's what a demolition order is, right? It's to have you
Well,
knock
no,
the property.
I understand that, but I've had this discussion in the past with you, I understand what you guys wanted, because cosmetically, the house doesn't look great, and it needs a roof. But it's not really from the, you know, I don't know that it needs to be demolished. That's more of a judgment, subjective call. I mean, that's something you're saying, but nobody's inspected the property to say this is, you know, it's up to code for electric, everything else is up to code, so I don't, you know, to say it needs to be demolished, I kinda, you know, I've seen a lot of things in Cedar Lake that are way worse overall. Now, granted, the exterior doesn't look great, but I understand that part, but we followed what you wanted demolished, that needed to be demolished, and I kinda question how you're coming up with that it needs to be demolished.
Because we have a report from our inspector that says it's unsafe.
And there are statutory criteria that the property has to meet to qualify
But
it as unsafe.
but it's based on some pictures that were taken.
And a visual on-site inspection by our inspector.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could look at anything and on the outside and say, that looks like it should be knocked down, but, you know.
It's not just looking at it cosmetically and saying it's ugly. It has to meet the criteria that are outlined in the Indiana code. If it does, then it's classified as unsafe.
Okay,
Does anybody?
so, but I mean, what I guess I'm asking, I mean, like, I'm with you on the unsafe maybe because of the roof or whatever, but I don't necessarily think that means it needs to be demolished. That's the part I'm struggling with.
Well, you have every opportunity to present your evidence if the board moves forward with the demolition order, and you have every opportunity to hire an attorney and to do whatever you need to do to combat whether or not it is unsafe. This is just the first step in that process.
Sir, if you're acknowledging the roof and the siding, what is the reason those haven't been corrected?
Well, like I was saying to you, I mean, because of where I live and I just felt like it didn't make sense for me to fix it if I'm gonna sell it anyway. I'd rather sell it as is. I mean, I could fix it and try to get more money, but to me, I'd rather walk away if possible. But again, I don't know that it needs to be knocked down. That's the part, I mean, I understand, but all along, I pretty much expressed that to you, that I wasn't sure what made the most sense. But I did before that, though, I did the things you'd asked, like knocking down the garage, cleaning up, and all that other stuff, so.
So what's your desire at this point? What are you asking for?
Well, I just want a little more time to sell it. I mean, I put it on the market in September, we're doing our best, there's a lot of hits, you know, I'm not, you know, I've disclosed, I'm not lying to you, what you've asked me to do, I've tried to do. You know, except for the situation when I had the medical issues earlier this year. So, I guess I'm just asking that we maybe wait a month for the demolition thing, because I feel like I'll be able to get it sold, and then you can move on with the new people. Or whoever they may be. I understand your concerns because of the past, I really do. Not for me, but with all the, you know, your own issues in the past.
The initial.
You did, right?
I feel like there's some confusion with what you just explained and what he's hearing out of that, because I think he's hearing that we're gonna demo it in 30 days.
We're not.
Yeah, 'cause
We wouldn't even
maybe-
have the ability to demo it until after
Right.
the December hearing.
I think he needs to be,
If the affirmation is passed at the December hearing, it's gonna go on the list of the 6, 7 other properties that are
Right.
awaiting demolition.
and we're talking springtime, probably.
It would all depend on when it would even be able to be gotten to.
Well, here's my concern. Like, if a buyer buys and you have it set up to be demolished, let's just, as an example, and that person says, no, they wanna keep it, are they gonna have to, you know, do they even have that opportunity at that point?
Yeah, they could come before the board and present their plans, and the board can set parameters with them, just like they did with the other individuals tonight, and what they'll do with the subsequent ones. It's not like your SOL, right? He would have the ability to, or she could come in and present whatever plans they have and timelines, and then it's up to the board.
Well, I guess I would just ask to wait another month to do that if you can.
So, sir, at this point, if we issue the demo order today, that would be for 30 days, which would carry us to the next meeting. And I think what we're trying to reiterate with you is that timeline-wise, nothing is going to get demoed until spring-ish. I mean, this isn't, we're not gonna come to your house on December 21st and demo it.
Well, I guess, I understand that now, but I guess, would rather if you waited till next, I'm hopeful I'll be able to get it sold before this next meeting, and it will be a non-issue. But I know hope doesn't get it sold, but I'm working hard to do that, so.
And if you issue the order tonight, and he sold it before the next meeting, then it's still a non-issue. Because
Right.
nothing would ever be recorded, because we don't have a final order to record.
Right.
I understand, but it just seems like I don't know, it just seems like it just doesn't sound good at the point at which you're trying to sell something, but I guess
Sir, that's why I'm asking you, if I just don't feel like you're giving us anything here. I'm asking you what you're willing to do, and you're telling us you're not willing to do anything.
well, I mean, it's not, no, I'm willing, I wanna sell it, that's why I've got it listed, but, I mean, it doesn't make sense for me to put a roof on it or something, just, I mean, I guess that's an option, but I'd rather sell it as is and let the people do with it what they'd like to do, you know what I mean? I mean, ideally, that's where I'm headed.
Well, right, and the citizens of Cedar Lake would rather this not look like an eyesore. So that's why I'm asking you, what are you willing to do to make it not look like an eyesore?
Well, that's what I've done these last few months I think it looks way better than it did, but obviously the roof's not in great shape.
December of last year.
So this one's going out here.
The other thing that shouldn't be lost on the board as you consider this is, last I heard, and last we knew, there was someone living in this,
Yes. Right. Yes.
so.
Is that a gentleman a month and a half ago that came in?
Yeah.
And was living there and was trying to repair it?
Yeah.
Correct, he had offered to do like some painting or something.
Does he still live there? Do you still have a tenant there?
Yes.
He's living with that roof like that? A tarp over his roof?
I'm just having I'm having a difficult time because I'm asking you what you can do to make this not an eyesore anymore, and you're telling me there's nothing you're willing to do. It's been on our agenda for a year.
No, it's not that I don't wanna do it, I'm saying I've done a lot since that started, number one.
I'll go by there tomorrow.
It was way worse than it was. We got rid of tires, we got rid of all kinds of stuff in the yard. There was terrible.
There's still a tarp on there. How long's the tarp been on the roof? Last December?
Yeah.
Sometime around there during the winter time, I believe.
And what's the reason you haven't repaired the roof?
Because he wants to sell it and not have to
Yeah,
do it.
I mean, that's the main reason right there, yeah.
Got
I wasn't sure once I started getting estimates, I just decided that it made more sense. Again, if I lived closer, it would be a lot simpler, but I don't, so the more I thought about it, it made more sense to put it on the market. I've got lots of estimates on roofs and siding and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But there again, since I really don't think I wanna keep it any longer, I mean, it just made more sense to do this, so that's the bottom line. And if I thought it was that unsafe, I wouldn't allow anyone to live there, let's put it that way.
Oh.
With all due respect, sir, we have an inspector who went out there and said it was unsafe, so, I mean, we have to listen to our town.
Well, no, I understand, but what I mean is, my home that I live in currently is a very nice home, and periodically there's been leaks around the chimneys and different things. And that, that doesn't necessarily mean it's an unsafe building, there's a leak. Now, obviously, that roof's in worse shape than that, but it's not gonna fall down anytime soon.
How do you,
I mean, there were guys walking on the roof when I had some contractors out there, they were walking around there and checking when they were looking at the roof to fix it. So,
Mr.
I don't know
Bauer,
what this says.
taking a look at aerials, It looks like that tarp has been out there since April of last year.
Well, it's at
April
least
of
been
22.
December. Okay, all right.
Well, I don't really remember, but sometime of, when you say last year, you talking about 23?
22.
April of 22.
Honestly, I don't really remember, but I thought it was last winter.
It says here it's a fire hazard to public health,
He has been provided the unsafe report.
so he knows this.
All right, Mr. Dortmeyer, what are our options at this point? I'm
Wait
sorry,
a
I'm
minute.
my memory, those are from three circles right now.
I mean, at this stage, your options are you could grant his request for another 30-day extension of time, which is similar to the request we've had last month and the month before. Or, you know, we have the demo order prepared. That can be, the initial order could be issued tonight, would be served, would be set for an additional hearing in December. You know, and then you hear whatever evidence he has in December, and then make a final decision on whether or not this property, you know, should be demolished, you know, technically, right, on paper, until either he sells it or the town gets around to knocking it down.
Can I ask you one question? I heard all that, but how do you come up, I saw the report, but where do you come up with that it's a fire hazard? I'm
Tony,
just
can you
curious.
shed any light on this so we can move on from this?
I haven't seen the inside of the house. I can only imagine what it's looking like by the way of the outside of it. Yeah, I can imagine that the electrical system is not amazing. I know you stated that it's up to code, but
It was, when I bought the property, we put the 100 amp service in there, and it was all up to code at that time.
And that was inspected by the town, is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, when I bought the property, and then after that, I can't remember the year, but I had an electrician in there to upgrade some things, and, the town was, but again, that was 10 years ago or something, but I mean, it was all up to code, so the electric is, you know, up to code, I know that.
There was
But that's why, I was just curious where you came up with fire hazard, that's all.
With all due respect, sir, again, I think if a tarp has been on your home for 18 months, whatever,
I understand the roof, I'm just saying, asking the question about the fire hazard, I don't know that that's a fire hazard. That's just a curious question.
So looking at previous permits, the last electrical permit was pulled in 2012 to repair fire damage. The one prior to that was 2009 for a service turn-on.
so if you had electrical work done in the past 10 years that hasn't, or 8 years that hasn't been inspected by the
No,
town to
that
begin with.
would have been the one, after the fire, there was an electrician that fixed all that, but when I bought the property, everything was up to code, to where everything needed to be done. So I don't know, what's that?
Go ahead with it.
Yeah, with all due respect, I think we're just getting kind of
You can
circular
make a
here.
motion, we're just going around and around here.
Donna, go ahead.
Well, I'd like to make a motion to go ahead with the order of demo. And,
Issue the demolition order?
correct.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion by Donna. Do I have a
Second.
I have a second by Heather. Roll call.
Mr. Zenich?
Yes.
Ms. Stetser?
Yes.
Ms. Sheehan?
Yes, carries 3-0. Okay, 7105 West 128th Avenue, Agnina.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, how you doing?
How you doing?
Good.
From Gagnino, Forest, Illinois. Same old me.
Okay, just for clarification, are we
7109.
working on 7105 right now or 7109?
Both. But
Okay.
first, 7105.
Okay, so where are we at with 7105?
7105, I made some preliminary drawings and passed them off to Debbie, our architect in Cedar Lake. She's drawn something up for us right now and planning on demoing the existing structure. My crew's got 2 jobs that they're on right now, one that they've got probably 2 weeks on, the other one's about 4 weeks. I have another crew that I've worked with in the past. I'm gonna check on their availability and see how soon they could get on something.
Okay,
Basically planning on demoing the existing structure and then just,
and that's on 7105?
yeah,
And then rebuilding something there,
correct.
and then going on to 7109, correct?
Yeah, rebuilding something there that we should have plans for
hopefully before the next meeting, just waiting on her to get something going, get something drawn up. I mean, I have something that I sketched on scale paper on my iPad just to give her an idea of what we were looking for, but it's
Okay.
basically the same exact size structure, but actually having a foundation under it,
Right,
having a crawl
right.
space under it.
All the things it needs.
Right.
Okay, do you anticipate having that next meeting, December 20th?
As far as the plans,
Yeah.
I would hope so,
Try.
yeah.
What,
Yeah.
why do we need the plans for the drawing? At this point, we're concerned about the demo, correct?
Well, he's
Yeah, I
working
mean,
on the demo.
the demo is gonna happen regardless. So it's just a matter of having one of my crews available, and we're booked out, my main crew is booked out 6 weeks right now.
But the plans for a new structure would go to the building department, that would have
Yeah,
nothing to
right,
do with
right,
us. Okay,
right.
so what do you need for the demo, how long? 30 days?
I just gotta check on that other crew, I mean, 6 weeks at most, I would say, because then my main crew would be available. But if I can get the other crew to go over there a little bit sooner, then I would use them. I know that they were in the process of building a new construction home in St. John. They were getting to the roof. I would say they probably got like 2 or 3 weeks left, so I would say probably a month, but I was gonna wait until I know for sure that I have someone available before pulling a demo permit. Just so that way I don't end up in the same situation where it's 30 days, 30 days, 30 days. I wanna be able to move on something after I get the permit pulled.
Heather, I think the issue with, he doesn't wanna demo it now because the setbacks are so wonky. We need to make sure that the new one is going to be pretty much the same dimensions as the old one, because we have to meet that by ordinance. So
Yeah.
that's why it's still,
Well, and 7109 kind of hinges on what happens
With
with 7105.
So my question with that is I know a lot of that is the zoning ordinance, and I was a part of all that 2 years ago. Here's my hitch with that, my problem with that, is that now we're preventing him from, ultimately we want the property gone.
right.
How is there not a way that we can make an agreement that just because it's gone, like, okay,
That's a serious hang-up with the ordinance. That's a kind of hang-up that Mr. Kubiak has mentioned also, that.
okay, so how do we fix
that's the
that?
reason. Change the zoning ordinance.
Well, in the meantime, is there anything that we can do so this eyesore can be gone and our citizens don't have to look at it anymore? And then we can say, okay, you know what, if you want the same footprint, that was the whole point of the legacy lots. We had good intentions with the whole thing, and I understand it's not being executed perfectly, but I also don't want to hold up a demo.
I believe there's a 6-month, is that correct? If you rebuild within 6 months? Otherwise, after the 6 months, it's like you're back to what the zoning regulations.
Well, I mean, does that mean that if he comes in with approved plans from the building department, so if he demos January 1st, and he comes in with approved building plans on February 1st, that buys him the 6 months from February 1st on?
I would say so. I mean, I'd look at it that way. I mean,
We can't,
we try to work with them.
yeah, I mean, we can't tell
Right.
these people they can't demo a property, or, I want to encourage you to demo that property, I don't want to look at it
Right.
anymore. How can we work with you to make that happen quickly, with the understanding that you can still remain with the same, the footprint and the setbacks?
Yeah, so I mean, I already, like I said, I drew something up that has space for 2-bedroom, 1-bath, living room, kitchen, all that good stuff, little space for mechanical, within the same footprint of the building that was there. I measured everything out and did everything on scale paper to make sure that we can stay within the same footprint.
What are
That's
the, what are the setbacks right now?
That's the thing. Does somebody have an as-built to where we can say, this is where it was, and now this is where the new one is going?
Like a survey, is that what you're?
Yeah, right.
I haven't gotten a survey on it yet.
Okay. We're
I
gonna
mean, I could get somebody over there to survey
Yeah,
it and show what the existing property line is.
So is there a way, though, that we can make that, make that make sense, where I
I don't see
have,
why.
I'm ready to demo, I have the survey, I understand where it was, here's my plan going forward, get this out of here, like, we've been dealing with this thing for how long?
It's been a while.
It was been a
But I
while.
think that right now, your concern is you don't have a crew for probably 6 weeks
Right,
to do it.
exactly.
And then you want to pull the permit when you know the crew's coming. You
Exactly.
don't want to keep coming back extending your permit.
Exactly.
That's what you were getting at there, right? So December 20th might not quite be enough time.
Correct.
Right.
Probably
Yeah, I
the
mean,
January
as
meeting.
long as me and him are in agreement with, cost and all of that, which we've already been talking about it, that's gonna go on my schedule for one of my next jobs. But I have another one, we're doing a remodel right now in Crown Point, my main crew, and I have one scheduled with Serve Pro already in Hammond that they're supposed to go to right afterwards. That was a burned down house. So, an eyesore in their town as well.
Right,
So-
right. So no, I think you have all intention to do what you're saying, you're just saying it might take 6 weeks.
Right.
To get
Unfortunately,
the crew on
there's
it
not a
and
lot
get it
of
taken down.
capable
And
help.
in between there, you can get a survey, you can have the
Yeah.
drawing, and things could get started on the build, which then hinges on the other property.
Correct.
Because
Correct.
you intend to build and sell 7105, or
No, I
not
don't
sell,
want
but
to.
you want to use the equity.
Correct.
You want to use the equity to fix 7109.
And I don't want it to be an eyesore. I want
Right.
it to be correct.
Right,
So I don't know if you live by the area or what, but it, you know, I intend to make it correct, right, and nice looking, because this is my backyard also.
Yeah.
So, I
I
don't want them, you know, that kind of thinking.
No, I'm trying to solve a bigger problem here, and
Yeah.
the problem, I heard two different things. The problem that I heard was that you don't want to demo it until you have building plans.
No, not
Because of-
necessarily that. I just, that's all happening at the same time. So I don't wanna pull the demo permit until I know that I have a crew available, so I'm not coming in here and giving you guys runaround of, give me another 3 weeks. I know for sure my main crew would be available 6 weeks from now to be able to go in.
so if
here
we
and
gave
demo.
him a, not 60 day,
Right,
he
yes.
came back in January,
Yes.
he could have the
Absolutely.
building down,
We could definitely have it done by
I
January.
think.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm hearing it. Is there a way that we can have that discussion about?
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's important.
And I mean, if you guys want me to get the survey, like usually it takes about a week for me to get my surveyor to a property.
Well, you're gonna have the survey either way.
Right, I'm saying if you guys want me to turn it in the meantime, as soon as I get that done, and I don't know if that helps for.
Just get it done
anything.
before it's demo, that's all.
Yeah.
Because that way we've got it and we can follow something.
Right.
Yeah, because I think what we're saying is we're willing to work with you on this, as long as we have the survey, we understand the setbacks and where the property is currently, where if there is a hiccup,
With the setbacks.
our
so
goal
it's
is to get the
still-
house gone right now.
Are the setbacks set in grandfather, or do they have to be changed?
Well, as soon as you demo, no, that changes. That's what my point
That's
is
where I'm
that,
getting at.
and I don't want that to hold that up. What I'm saying is that if you get that survey and we understand where the property is at, I believe that we'd be willing to work with you on get the property gone. If it needs to sit for 6 months or whatever until you get your stuff together, that's fine.
Okay.
Where do the grandfather laws kick in? Is there any of them left?
I mean, there's a time frame in there that you're able to take it down and build.
Is that the 6 months that you?
Well, I understand that, 6 months,
Okay.
where you have the opportunity to use those same.
Yeah, and I mean, that's absolutely doable, like I said, as long as, like,
As long as this is down.
right.
All right, I'd like to issue a 60-day extension at this point with the understanding that you're going to get the survey done.
Mhm.
You definitely have to have it done before you demo, or then we're going to run into a whole bunch of other issues.
Yep.
Do I need to add anything else to that?
So is that a 60-day deferral? Because I
Yeah.
don't think, have you guys ever applied for a demo permit on this?
Yeah.
You have, okay. So it'd be a 60-day
Right.
extension of that?
It's there, correct?
I know we had an interior one.
Maybe not, so maybe not an extension, maybe just a deferral.
Deferral,
Yeah.
and then,
Because if the permit's not active right now, then you would have to reapply anyway. So my saying extension wouldn't work.
I think that might have been for 7109. Yeah, that was for 7109, so we've never pulled a permit for 7105 at this point in time. So then what you'd be doing is applying for a demolition order, for demolition permit for the 7105.
So it'd be a 60-day deferral then, and then if you want to add any time constraints on when they apply for the permit, how long the permit's good for, would be part of
Yeah,
your
but I
motion.
think the 60 days would be good enough for you to apply for the permit and demo, correct?
I think so too, yeah.
I mean, I
once
would
we
really
get
hope
there-
that's down in 60
Yeah,
days.
once we get there, it'd probably, like I was telling him, it'd probably be like a matter of roughly 6 days. You know, depending on how quick we can get dumpsters in and out of there is really the only thing, but
Perfect.
2 weeks at most.
okay.
So my intention is to make a motion to do a 60-day deferral with the understanding that you need to get that survey done before you demo. We'd certainly love to see that demoed by the time we see you in 60 days.
Okay. Yeah, I'll order the survey tomorrow morning, we'll call the surveyor and try to get him out there as soon as I can. And,
Perfect.
yeah, like I said, I'm gonna talk with the other crew and see if I can get them over there. I don't know what their schedule is beyond, I know that they were working on a house in St. John at the
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
And I don't want to be circular here, Heather, I apologize, but just to make sure we're clear, so it's a 60-day deferral, are you putting any limitations on the length of that demo permit, like we've done in the past?
30 days,
Okay, so from application, it's good for 30 days?
yeah.
Okay, I'm good with that.
But I think we
Yeah, that's more
understand
than
that
enough.
I think the 60 days is probably good for you to apply, get the permit, and demo it.
Absolutely.
That'd be great.
I understand, I'm just saying what's good for the
Yeah.
goose is good for the gander, and we're looking for consistency.
Love it, thank you.
Okay, Heather made a motion.
I second,
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Zenich?
yes.
Ms. Stetshauer?
Yes.
Ms. Sheehan?
Yes. Motion carries 3-0. We'll see you guys in 60 days. All right. Thank you, have a good night, enjoy your holiday.
And just for the
But-
record,
but-
for 7109, like what we've done in the past is we would just effectively make the same motion, like this one, since they're kind of trailing each other.
Right.
Would just be a flat 60-day deferral.
All right, I'll make that motion to have a 60-day deferral on 7109 West 128th as well.
I second,
Roll call?
Mr. Zenich?
yes.
Ms. Stetshauer?
Yes.
Ms. Sheehan?
Yes, carries 3-0.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have 13941 Morse Street, Stewart.
Hello, Hanson Stewart, 249 South Chase Drive, Crown Point. So we had the paperwork filed in my sister's my name for the property. We do have it filed with the county now.
It's showing on county as it's in yours and your sister's name now.
Yes,
It
should
is
be.
showing on county, yes.
Yeah, it should have been filed now. We did get some stuff out of the house that we wanted to get out of there, and we still got some more stuff we want to get out of the house. And the next thing we're gonna do is gonna get somebody to get an appraisal on the property.
Okay.
And get that done in the next couple of weeks after Thanksgiving or whatever.
Are you planning to sell it then?
Yeah, I want to start with the appraisal, see what, yeah.
See what's worth
Eventually,
it.
but I want to get it started with an appraisal.
Okay.
I've only been here since August.
Right, no, I realize that.
Yeah, so that's the next thing, we're gonna get appraisal, see where we'll go from there.
And then last
This
time you
all
said,
got boarded up, so I believe everything
Everything was
is
boarded
safe
up,
there,
yeah.
correct?
I believe they board up the house, right?
Right.
And the garage.
oh,
But the big, like, pole barn structure, is that secured?
The lean-tos, yeah, there's no, it's a lean-to that's,
Yeah, you can't store a lean-to.
Okay.
Do you want me to?
So does one have the excavators in it,
The rest of
or?
the way down.
The barn, the big barn, yeah, that he secured has all the, bunch of.
But that is secured?
Yes.
Okay, because that was the one that seemed to be a bigger concern
Yeah.
initially, so.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
there's no power to that building, so.
Okay.
Nobody can get there at night unless they wanna, it's completely, there's no power to the garage.
And the debris on the property,
I think there's probably still a car or two there.
I still gotta get the car, but again, it's just, we've been
They're
really
kinda
busy at
buried in
work, I
there.
haven't had a chance to take a day off, but
Do you know?
we can get the car off of there.
I'm stuck on the car.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. So, at this point, I mean, it sounds like you've got a plan. And so, at this point, I know obviously the exterior has to have some things removed from it, but
You'd be just selling it pretty much as is. I mean, you wouldn't be trying to clean the grounds up or anything like that, correct?
No, whoever would come in there would take,
Okay. So again, it's kind of passing the,
Passing the buck
right,
on.
not passing the buck, I guess so. I don't
Well,
know.
right, kind of, with what we've been dealing with the other ones,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So when, what are you gonna do?
Ryan, thoughts?
This one's unique.
this is my
It is.
fourth meeting, I don't know what you're trying to do.
There's a lot more to take this one down than
Yeah,
some of the others.
it's a lot, there's a lot
Um,
going on there.
In fairness, he has secured the property
Mhm.
upon our request.
Right.
He's correct, this hasn't toiled for a year.
well, that's my point. I mean, at this, like, I almost think it's not a waste of time for him to be here, but how do we move on? Like, what do we need to do?
Well, I mean, the one thing that we don't have right now is a plan, right? He wants to get an appraisal, but he wants to see what it's worth, but doesn't exactly know if you're gonna sell it. That's what I'm hearing. Is that incorrect, sir?
Yeah, I don't know until I get the appraisal, I mean,
Yeah, I would understand that.
I'm just gonna say
Sure.
ahead of time.
So I think before you can sort of judge that, we need to know sort of where the ship is going. So at least he needs to come back here until we know exactly what the plan is, and you guys can evaluate what that plan is.
Is 60 days fair for you to get an appraisal and come back?
That's fine.
Okay.
You know,
Are
maybe-
you ready for me?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I would make a motion to, a 60-day deferral, with the hopes that you have your appraisal done and can let us know what your plan is.
I second,
Roll call, please.
Mr. Rosanich?
Yes.
Ms. Stetauer?
Yes.
Ms. Sheehan?
Yes, carries 3-0. We will see you in 60 days. Well, I guess the January meeting, whatever that.
So
What's the
January
date?
20th.
They don't have it yet.
January meetings have not been set
Okay,
yet.
not scheduled, January meeting.
So I started waiting on.
Currently, the calendar is being prepared, but until it's adopted and accepted by town council, we don't have any
Okay,
2024
yeah,
meetings
it's
set
usually
yet.
The third week.
third week, exactly.
Just, reach out to me in January and I'll let you know when that meeting is.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Enjoy your
you.
holiday. Next, we have 13947 Hobart Street, Weiss.
I do not see him. Last month, he appeared with a report that they were going to be going for a hearing, and Brian and I talked about it this morning, and it doesn't look like that
Yeah.
hearing's occurred.
This one's frustrating from the legal side. Generically, just to refresh everyone, this is the one that apparently like a neighbor allegedly tried to deed it to himself or something.
Right.
Unbeknownst to Mr. Weiss, who since passed away. So when a estate was opened, they did file a lawsuit against the person that deeded it to himself.
Right.
They then later added some other individuals whom they believe were residing in the property. The report we received last month was they were asking for a hearing, and I questioned why they didn't just file a default judgment, because nobody had appeared in that case, because I checked the docket. There was no real clear answer to that. When Ashley and I talked today, I looked at the docket again, and there's been no activity since there was the proof of service of the other defendants occurred in September, which now is plenty of time to file the default judgment. So no defaults on file, no request for hearings on file. We don't know what the heck's going on.
So they're really just, and they didn't appear today, so
Correct.
nothing's really happening.
That's fair. There's a lawsuit, that's all that's happened, I mean, other than that.
And he was present last month to hear the deferral for 30 days.
Just for your own personal knowledge, I don't believe we've ever run title or anything on this particular property because they've generally been here. Sometimes it's taken some not so gentle nudgings to get them here, but they have been.
Is someone living there now?
It's kind of unknown, because of that weird conveyance issue.
Don't think it's livable.
It doesn't look livable,
I don't
but,
believe it is.
Well, not livable, it's someone not living
Well, I'm
there,
not saying that some, you are.
unfortunately.
right.
Photos they submitted last year when this started on the Unsafe showed that he had boarded it up. Do we know if it's still
Weren't there
secure?
a couple of properties or parcels or something? I recall him saying something about that last month, that it was
I
maybe
think
not a main house, but a secondary house or something.
there is another house for a Bert and Edna Weiss right across the street. They have
Oh, Will.
4 lots. And then you had Weiss across the board. I don't know if at any point in time these were in the other Mr. Weiss's name. Let me look at the town record real quick. No, it's been in Bert and Edna's name for
There's 13947, who's it shows the owner?
13947. It still shows Willard and Naomi Weiss.
What do you recommend, Ryan? I really don't.
Well, I mean, does the town want to spend the money and order title when all this is going on? and
I don't think
hope they're
so.
gonna resolve it?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, it's in the hands of an attorney, they need to show up and tell us what the heck's going on, because we can't seem to get straight answers or good movement on it.
Well, we can request Ashley to reach out again and try to make that happen for the next meeting.
Yeah, I don't think at this point spending the town's money on title, like you said, it's already involved in a legal thing. So by the time you run title, and then 5 days later, it could be something else anyway. So it would be my motion to just defer this for 30 days and ask Ashley or any of our staff to reach out and just tell them that we need to see some sort of some sort of an update at December 20th.
You wanna, is that to send him an order to appear, to make sure there's
Order
someone
to,
here?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I have a motion?
Oh,
Second.
what?
I need a second.
Oh, second.
Thank you. Roll call,
Are
please.
we still talking?
Ms. Rosanich?
Yes.
Ms. Sensauer?
Yes.
Ms. Sheehan?
Yes, carries 3-0, deferred for 30 days. 7303 West 129th Avenue, Fouch.
Roger Fouch. Really don't know what to say other than I want to keep the building. I'm trying to restore it back. Would like to get a permit to finish the siding, because siding's always been bad on it. And I bought new siding, and was getting ready to go get a permit, and I got a letter.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a newer one, I believe.
I know it looks atrocious the way it is with the siding.
The first picture I'm looking at is the foundation.
Right.
The less concerning would be the siding, and more concerning would be the foundation for me. Have you had that looked at?
No, I've reinforced it with 4x4s from frame to floor. I put those in originally when I bought the place. I've tuck pointed blocks and that, and then they came in and rebuilt the road out there and cracked half my stuff loose, and I had to redo it. It warped it a little bit more.
I think last month I drove by this one prior to the meeting, and the foundation looked the same as what, I mean, these pictures were taken fairly recently, right, Tony?
Oh, there's snow on the ground.
Yeah, so there's snow,
Oh,
and it
okay.
hasn't snowed really
Oh,
yet,
okay.
unless you get it on Halloween.
All right.
It looks relatively the same.
That's
Only thing I would add
from
is
what
I
I saw.
saw you putting siding up today. Please don't do that until you have a permit.
I was trying to just make it look decent.
Oh, I understand. There's probably some things that need to be addressed, like that corner of the foundation and whatnot, so.
Yeah, I got one corner I fixed already, and the other corner, I broke the cinder block. I gotta replace the one cinder block at the top, and I'm gonna fill it with concrete.
Okay, we just gotta see what's going on there and see what direction we need to go in with it.
See, there's leaks
To get
on
the
the
permit to the right repairs.
And have a permit, right? Yeah.
It's hard for me to hear, so please talk as loud as you can.
Did you say you have a permit to do this?
No, I've been just tinkering with it. Originally, when I bought it, I got a permit to do the roof on it, and I just shored up what I needed to make sure everything was solid while I took the whole top off and put a new roof on it.
Does he need a permit to do all this work on the outside though, right?
Yeah, it was assumed so.
So could you tell to talk to me this afternoon, when I checked our records, I don't have any records of any permits being pulled for this property.
There's
Only
an
a
old card
roof
hanging in
for
the
a roof.
window. There's an old permit card hanging in the window. I don't recall what year it's from, but.
It's in the front kitchen window, yeah.
And when is that from,
18,
sir?
Pardon?
This isn't from this year, correct?
No. It's
So
when I
there's
first
not
bought it.
currently a permit.
It's
No,
when
he
I
does
first
not
bought
have
it.
a- Yeah, you don't have a current permit.
No, that's what I need. That's one of the things I need.
Right.
I'm on a limited budget, and I only get to work a little at a time at anything I do.
It was pulled in 2011.
I can't hear you.
2011 was when you pulled the roof permit.
Yeah.
So I think, sir, that in order for you to do any work on the home, though, you have to pull that permit, because that allows our town inspectors to make sure that work's done correctly.
Yep.
So, I mean, I would encourage you not to do any more work. First of all, it's gonna be a waste of your time and money, but also, when you do pull that permit eventually, then we would probably have you undo everything that you did to make sure it was done correctly.
Well, I only got 3 pieces of siding around in 2 sections that I just put on because of trying to make it look better.
Yeah.
And that,
And I appreciate that, I just don't want you to waste your time and your money at this point.
I bought the siding for the house, and I've been trying to get to work on it, and without money to come in and buy a permit, well, okay, come back as soon as I get another $100, because when I get another $100.
Yeah, I understand, and that's why I don't want you to waste any more money
Yeah.
on that. And like I said, my quick pictures, and my concern wouldn't be the siding, it would definitely be the foundation first.
Yeah.
So, how can we proceed from here? Mr. Dortmeyer?
I mean, this is the first time it's been on.
Right.
So certainly it's within your power and discretion to give him some additional time to get that stuff together. I mean,
And reiterate the permit, yeah.
yeah, I mean, he would have the opportunity to pull the permit and, you know, show some sort of progress
Yeah.
moving forward on
Are
it.
you living here, sir?
No, I live in South Holland, Illinois.
Okay, is your intention to move into this home, or was it
Yeah,
like a
originally,
flip,
yes.
or? Okay,
That's why I bought it for a retirement home for me and my wife.
okay.
Do you still intend to move into it?
I can hear
Do
you.
you still intend to live in it?
Once I raise my 2 grandkids, yes.
Okay, but at this point, you'd be willing to get it up to a condition that would be acceptable to the town in the meantime?
Yes, that's what I wanna do, yes.
Okay,
It's got Romex electric all through it. It's got a 100 amp service in it. That was already there. I don't have the well hooked up, and the sewer is hooked up. I've been paying sewage and water treatment since I bought the place.
is the power on there?
No, I don't want the power on if I'm not gonna be living in there. Paying $30, $40 a month for service that I'm not using. When I come in, after I bought it, they came and cut the gas main out of it right away. So I didn't have a gas main on it either. I just been using it for storage and working on it.
I'm ready for a motion.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion, with the understanding, please don't do any more work.
Okay.
And frankly, don't buy anything else for the house at this point. Step one would be a demo permit, and so
Okay.
have our professionals come in and, or not a demo, excuse me, remodel permit or whatever you need, and have our professionals help you out with that.
Okay.
So you're doing it in the right steps and not wasting your money and your time. So I'd like to, issue a 60-day deferral for this agenda item, with the hopes that in the next 60 days, maybe you can get a plan together to move forward with this property.
Okay.
Please keep the outside clean, that's the main concern at this point.
I try to keep the yard cut and everything,
Yeah.
and I've been shoveling dirt back in, so it's leveling it back off, but it's hard on an old man.
Yeah, that's my motion.
Okay.
I second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Rosanich?
Yes.
Ms. Stetauer?
Yes.
Ms. Sheehan?
Yes, carries 3-0. We will see you at the January meeting, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy your holidays.
Could you please get me a...
Next, we have 7500 West 129th Lane, Torkelson.
On right, so I can deal with...
With the meeting minutes?
Huh?
So you want, like, what just happened,
Yes,
when we
yes,
formed the minutes?
sorry, I
Okay,
forgot
yeah,
to
we can fix
update your guys' agenda. Yeah, it is now Bart.
It's now what?
Barthowitz.
What's your
Oh,
name?
okay.
He did get his
154.
notice
To appear?
to appear
Merrill
and did reach out. They had
Avenue.
a previously scheduled vacation
Did it
that he could
South
not
Holland?
reschedule
Okay.
and is asking for a 30-day deferral.
604.
What's the intention with this property, do we know?
Repair.
It'll take a little time.
How long has it
Minutes
been
have
on?
to be prepared,
Just
but when
came
we're
on.
done, we can have.
Okay.
Yeah, these are all newer ones.
So he is going to
I need to do
report
it.
on, in September
Otherwise,
20th?
60 days.
Yes, he
Perfect.
requested
60 days from
deferral.
January.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to
Okay.
defer this
Could
to our
you
next
confirm?
meeting on December 20th.
I second.
Yeah.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Rosanich?
Yes.
Ms. Stetauer?
Yes.
Ms. Sheehan?
Yes, carries 3-0. Next, we have 14616 Dewey Street, Frick.
Oh, God.
Is there anybody here?
Received the green card back, they received notice to appear.
So now what?
Okay, so nobody's here.
And what's the story with this? We had a report
Been
that
a
was
year.
a concern.
Yeah, this one's brand new, it's the first time it's been on the agenda.
Oh.
Yeah, so, I mean, what was the initial concern?
The whole house.
Need a little more detail on that. I mean, so how did this end up with us?
Because somebody complained and Tony went out and did a report. So he found it to be unsafe, so it's here.
last month, it was at the potential unsafe. The unsafe board determined that it was, in fact, did meet the criteria of unsafe as indicated in Tony's report. The direction was for me to notify the owner to appear. That notice was sent out. I received the green card back. He signed for it, so he received the letter to appear. He has not appeared. If we follow our similar fashion that we've done when they don't appear, they've been sent the notice to appear, our next step is typically ordering title.
Yeah, I mean, the downfall is, or the danger is if you just kick it another 30 days and then send them another notice and they don't show up, then we just lost 30 days in the
Right, just
timing.
keep on going.
Nobody's ever gonna do anything.
Right.
But, and they still have the opportunity, right? Because if we order title tonight, we would get that going, Ashley would send them another notice to appear, and they're gonna have 2 or 3 or 4 more notices to appear before, you know, the whole process is done. So they'll have ample opportunities to come in.
We also have another, how many do we have on the demo list at this point? I mean,
Like, currently, the orders are issued on?
yeah.
6?
So, I mean, in concern of spending more of the town's money on running title consistently, this is brand new as of last month.
Yeah, today is the first time it was on the agenda. Correct. And the first notice to appear was issued last month, or this month, whenever they signed for it.
I mean, I'll make a motion
Okay.
to defer for 30 days.
I second. Do you send another letter then?
If that is the direction of the board, I will send another notice.
Roll call?
Mr. Rosanich?
Yes.
Ms. Bethauer?
Yes.
Ms. Sheehan?
No. Carries 2-1. Next, we have 14737 Bryan Street, Bodinet, probably butchering it. Is anybody here for that one?
No, this is their first time.
Similarly as well, they were sent a notice to appear. I received the green card back. They did receive that notice.
Okay.
Huh.
Although I'm not sure, looking at the condition of the house, if they actually live there and that's their mailing
Somebody
address.
does live there.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say, I hope no one does, but
Somebody does.
Okay. I guess we have to do the same thing.
I mean, yeah. Obviously, this one's more concerning with someone living there.
I mean, and all these holes.
Ashley, is it customary to try to reach out to these people after they have, I mean, obviously they have the green card, so they're notified.
If the direction of the board is to reach out again, I absolutely can send them another notice. It could be that it was a similar scenario to our 7,500 where they already had a pre-scheduled vacation and they just weren't able to appear this month, at least with Mr.
But you got the green card back,
I did get the green card back.
but they could have reached out and said I'm on vacation or something.
I agree with that. I mean, there's no excuse not to at least make a phone call.
Right.
I-
Right,
yeah.
I agree.
Again, when we have multiple properties on this list, does it make sense to continue to run title on additional properties and spend more money when we already have properties waiting? I don't
So they're
know.
eventually all gonna come down, it's just a matter of time.
Well, but then we have to run new title and refresh title.
not necessarily, right? If you issued an order on any of these today,
If we
that
keep
order's
it
good for 2
going
years.
to the end, we don't have
So-
to redo it.
It's good.
You
for
wouldn't
us.
have to, like, perpetually run title unless we ran it today. They showed up next month and then it toiled like parrots did, then we have to update it on the back end because nothing happened.
Yeah, no.
If you were to issue an order, it's good for 2 years. If that kind of answers one of your concerns.
Yes and no.
I understand.
Being that this is brand new, again, I would issue a 30-day deferral.
And a notice to order to appear?
Yeah, with the hope that maybe Ashley, someone from staff can reach out to them as well.
I will
second.
send another notice.
I second it.
Okay, roll call please.
Mr. Rosanich?
Yes.
Ms. Bensauer?
Yes.
Ms. Sheehan?
No. Carries 2-1. 7109 West 146th Avenue, Hebner. Hi, can you state your name and
Oh,
address,
I'm
please?
sorry, Josh Ebner, 7109 West 115 North Grand Street, Crown Point, Indiana, sorry.
Okay, where are we at with this house?
I've got plans to come in there in January with some dumpsters and equipment, get started on this. I've been kind of putting it off, I didn't want to do it in the summer, it's such a nasty mess, I gotta handle everything in that house, I don't even think the
Could
neighborhood
you
would.
speak up just a
I'm
little
sorry.
louder?
I didn't want to get too involved with it this summer, it's pretty gross. I gotta
Okay.
handle all that stuff in the house. I think everybody would appreciate me waiting until maybe it's cold. But, I've been working on it, for months, trying to line things up. I'm still working on a few details, but as of right now, I've got equipment that's gonna be showing up in January.
You've signed a contract for that?
For the equipment?
Correct.
No, I don't have anything like that. I'm just trying to put some things together. If you're asking where I'm at, that I'm telling you in January, I've got a, dump trailer and hopefully a piece of equipment coming out there. We can start getting the contents of the house out. Before we
Yeah,
strip
full.
it down. Yeah, it's full, so.
So this one, Heather, he was originally, the town was gonna take it down? And then he decided he was gonna take it down?
Yeah, no, I remember. It's been on here for a while.
Yeah.
Do you live here?
No. And no, nobody's living in that camper either.
No one's what?
Nobody
Living in
lives
the camper.
I watched the meeting from last month. That's just a lie.
Well, it looks like someone's living in it.
I mean, it's fine.
There's a grill and a chair and...
I mean, we hang out up there, but nobody lives in that camper. So, I mean, it's just not true. So, it may look like, it doesn't look like it now, it's all wrapped up, but, yeah, nobody's living on the property in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I mean, you understand how that doesn't look great though, right?
I mean, I moved the chair so it didn't look like somebody was living there. When I got the notice on the door, I went ahead and pulled the awning in and pulled the slide in and got rid of the chair, so I'm gonna move it a little closer to the house, here maybe this weekend, just so I can get kind of prepared to start working on the house in January. I got a bunch of stuff I gotta move away from the perimeter of the house first, so.
And you're going to repair?
No.
Tear down.
I just gotta get the
Tear down.
contents out so we can
Okay.
tear it down.
There's no repair.
No.
It couldn't be.
Okay.
There are some updated photographs.
I mean, the place is a mess, and it's getting worse, so I understand.
Right.
Oh, down here. Oh.
I know that the people that live in that neighborhood are tired of seeing all this, and I am too. I just hope everybody knows I'm doing this on my own. I'm trying to work my way through it. It's coming down. My goal is by next year to be walking around that property barefoot, I mean, it's an albatross. I'm trying to get through it, guys.
Okay. And when do you plan on doing the demo?
I'm hoping to get started in January. That's the plan. I mean, no, I don't have a contract or anything like that. I wasn't prepared to show anything, but I'm asking for help from friends and contractor buddies of mine, and the company that I work for is gonna give me some equipment, but I can't do any, well, I don't wanna do anything till after the first of the year, get through the holidays. And I wanted to wait till it was cold out. I really don't wanna go in that house when it's warm at all. It's bad.
Needs a permit, right, for the demo?
You haven't pulled a demo permit.
No, I'll do it, closer to the end of the year.
When you know that you're
Yeah.
gonna have it.
I don't wanna have to, same as some of the other people, I don't wanna have to pull it and then pull it again and pull
Right.
it again.
It
How
just
long are
has
they
to
good for,
happen.
30 days or 6 months, or, how long are they good for, 30 days or 6 months?
However long we give you,
Okay.
I think, right?
I'll get it before the end of the year.
I feel comfortable making a motion at this point.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to defer, I don't know how I can do this, defer for 60 days with the understanding that a demo permit will be pulled by the end of the year.
That's fine.
That would give you the month of January to demo.
To demo.
You want it down and done by the end of January?
We do, yeah, I do.
I mean, I'm doing it by myself. I don't have.
How long do you need? Let me ask you that.
I-
How long would you like?
I'm not being sarcastic, but I've never torn a house down. It's gonna take, I would like the house and the property cleared by next summer, that's what I'm shooting
I
for.
like you.
But I got a lot of work to do, and I'm doing it by myself. I don't have any help, so it's just gonna take time, and I hope I can get some patience from the town and from the neighbors. I know it's, like I said, I know it's kind of an albatross out there, but, you'll see. I mean, I still think I'll have it down before the town moves. So,
Well, that's
Madam
true.
President,
yeah, so and I'm working on it.
What was that, Mr. Ashen?
I have a couple comments.
Please.
This has been on your agenda since August last year.
Yeah.
You've heard exactly what this gentleman has said on at least half a dozen occasions. I'm going to give you a copy of the meeting minutes from August to the present, so you can see every month this has been talked about. Some commitment has been made, some commitment not fulfilled. You rarely hear me say anything from this corner of the room during these meetings, but the last meeting, I was kind of bothered by a couple of things, and they're legal in nature, but they're also community in nature. The community in nature part is, this is a hellhole. This is old Cedar Lake. The pictures you should look at, and I'm going to bring them up to you here in a second, and show exactly the disrepair, the lack of care, the lack of maintenance, the lack of compliance. Complete problem. So at the last meeting, we had neighbors
Yeah.
comment upon the circumstances they live with and the view and quality of life and vista that none of us would live with. When I saw the pictures, I just really was upset. I'm hoping you are also, because this can't wait. The not wait part is about getting quality of life back in that neighborhood. Now, the disturbing part, and really why I decided to research into this, is because apparently upon being approached, the reports are that this gentleman complies, he infers that he doesn't have to do anything on his schedule or our schedule because he has relationships here.
Can I comment? There was a statement, I'm sorry to cut you off. There was a
You
statement made.
did cut me off, sir, and
I know, but that was a
I did
lie.
not cut you off, and I would not. And when I heard that, and combined that with the research I had done, and saw that last January, my colleague Ryan Deutmeyer prepared an agreement that was going to be fulfilled and didn't end up being fulfilled. When I read and saw about the pictures in the summer, then the pictures this fall, there's somebody living there. There's somebody on the premises. There's a condition that is horrid. That's what Unsafe is about. That's what Old Cedar Lake was, by the way, and I'm one of the few people, Jim Hunley would know this.
There's nobody living there.
In this meeting hall tonight, that knows about how Cedar Lake started its unsafe building program and what we faced for years in the beginning. This is just maintenance of that status quo. Please note that a couple of the homeowners nearby, may I approach?
Yeah.
Thank you. Are here again, and their position, I haven't talked to either one of them other than to say hello, but their position, here are the pictures. That'll give you a great idea about the contrast. These are the minutes of each meeting from August last year to the present. One of the meetings, there was an explanation that there were fund issues. Well, you can take a look, there's a camper on that property. We cannot go backwards here in Cedar Lake, we cannot. And this is going backwards. 2 months deferral makes it 19 months. 19 months goes into the middle of winter. Middle of winter is then begging the spring, and we're into 2024. I know that folks have challenges financially and fiscally, but this is not a residence of this gentleman, it's some other type of use property. these folks live in their homes that are here tonight and probably will say something, I don't know if they will or won't, but probably will, in support of what we're talking about now. We need to be aggressive as a town and make it certain this does not perpetuate. We need this property cleaned so that those in the neighborhood, those in that part of our community, and by the way, it's a really nice part of the community, Bell Street, you've all been down there?
Yeah.
I've known it since I was a kid. Nice place. We
Sir,
should maintain that.
If I may,
I'm sorry to drag on.
no, I appreciate your input. If I may, my question / concern is, how do we proceed? I would love to say, well, we'll have a crew there in 30 days to get the place taken down, but we have 6 on the
I know that.
docket, so
If anybody knows that, I know that.
in your legal position, how do we proceed with this in the most efficient way? Because I understand I was sent pictures
Right, I understand.
personally, so I understand.
My suggestion about funding and financing is to return this to the clerk treasurer and for her to work it out with the director of operations. They need to find the resources. By the way, this will be, if any of you saw the birdhouse go down,
Yeah,
I mean, Stanley Bird, we found the funds. It was done mostly with in-house staff. We have an excellent operator in Tim Kubiak. He knows how to use that equipment. And it was cleaned in probably about a week total, but he got it. So to answer your question, Heather, it can be arranged.
second question along with that is, what motion would you suggest we have at this point?
I would defer to Ryan for a second about this. Do we have a demolition order still in effect?
There was, I believe the stay expired, is it today?
He was granted a 90-day stay of execution to appear back before the board tonight to either present evidence that the house was demolished or going to be demolished within a month of the meeting, or the board was going to then determine whether or not that stay was going to be extended or not.
So, to answer your question, the stay was for the agreement that he entered into in January, February, for the town to take it down. He came back in whatever it was, August, asked for the stay to be put into place so he could knock it down. The stay is now expired, and the question before the board is whether that stay would be extended or not. If they extend it, obviously, then we don't have an order to effectually use. If you don't extend it, then the original agreement by Mr. Hebner stands, and the town can proceed with the demolition based upon his concurrence and agreement that the property needs to come down.
So you also have his admissions tonight about the condition of the property, so you need no further burden of proof.
Yeah, there's no questioning that it needs to come down, I mean, it's falling apart. I do have to comment, I'm not here to defend myself, and I'm not gonna breathe truth into a lot of the lies that have been spoken. I at no point, and I want this on the record, never said that I could do what I want sooner or later because I have connections. That was a lie. And it's almost turned into a point of slander at this point. They can get up and say whatever they want when I leave, but that was a lie. And nobody's living on the property. That's just not true. I mean, I do spend a lot of time on it, for sure, but I don't live with it. I just don't. I mean, I don't know what to say about that. I don't know what the camper out there has to do with my financial status. I don't know if that was the implication.
You couldn't take the building down last January, February because of finances and funds.
Right.
You made an agreement with the town and you reneged on that agreement.
The town had the building in their hands for 8 months, and they didn't do anything. I feel like the town kind of reneged on that, and I thought I could get it down. I really thought I could get it, I thought I could get it down faster. I do, and I didn't know what the financing part of the town was. I couldn't get any solid answers. I was nervous, so I tried to put it in my own hands. So it's kind of, I took it out of the town's hands, so now the pressure's back on me, but, the camper wasn't bought since I bought the house. I don't know if that's the implication. I really don't know what the camper has to do with my financial status. Somebody made a comment that there was $50,000 put in my barn. That is nowhere near true. There's nothing about that. It's even remotely true. And I mean, I just challenge it to be proved. Because, I mean, why would we make an unsubstantiated claim without any proof? You know, I mean, there's a lot of that going on, and I'm not here to debate or go back and forth, I don't wanna deal with any of this, I just wanna get this house down. If the town can help me, I'd be willing to talk, there was a lot of unknowns, and they had it for 8 or 9 months, and nothing happened, and nobody was giving me any
It
answers.
was on the list like the other one.
So I thought I could do it fast myself.
The town is not on the record
I don't know.
responsible for tearing down this building.
That's fine, but when we signed that paperwork, that was the understanding that they were going to, so I stepped back.
Immediately.
You know, I mean, I did, I let it go, because I thought, I was under the impression, at that point, the town was gonna be in within a month, and the house was gonna be gone, that's what we were all shooting for, and 7 or 8 months later, you know, everybody says they want the house down, so. If the town's not tearing it down and you're mad at me, then I'm gonna take over, and I'm gonna try to get it torn down faster.
Order to him, he could have it done in January.
I mean, if you're implying that I should take out a loan to tear the house down, I don't know that I could be forced to take out, borrow money to do it.
The extent of authority of the Unsafe Building Commission is to issue administrative orders, period. You're not in the house tearing down business, we're not in the property reclamation business, we're not in the take care of it for the property owner business. It's their responsibility, it's just like it is in all of our homes, our responsibility.
So,
And you're here to enforce, you're here to enforce that and administer that.
so here's my question. If we do not continue to stay, we put it back on the town, and it sits, and Mr. Hebner goes and does take, can go take it down?
You could apply for a permit, sure.
Even if, while it's sitting on that list, waiting to be...
Yeah, I mean, it would probably end up back before you that Ashley, I imagine, would hold it. So you come to the meeting and you come in and say, I want the permit, I want it done, I'm not
Right,
going to get it
he
done.
would come back and say, I'm gonna get a, can I get a permit?
You could have done that at any point in time from January until today.
Can you guys clarify that? I wanna make sure I understood it right. So I can put it on the list, the town can still be, if they wanna tear it down, they can, I can.
If we got to it before you, yes.
But I
If
still
you
have the
got to
ability?
it before us, yes, that's my
I didn't
understanding.
know that at the first time, that's why I did what I did.
That's my understanding.
Is
Is that correct, Ryan?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't understand that before.
Dave, do you have any disagreement with that?
No.
The process is confusing, I'm sorry, it really is. Again, I'm just asking for patience. I don't wanna leave this like this forever, I really want the house down, so.
It's up to you guys, but I mean, if you want to just continue to stay and put it back on the town, then basically whoever
Did
takes
you say
it down
just
first.
continue?
Discontinue.
Discontinue, okay, I just want to make sure.
Discontinue the stay, that goes back to the town. But basically, whoever takes it down first, takes it down first.
I'm happy with that, I do.
I'm just saying, that's the only option I'm really seeing here. Unless, otherwise, you...
I don't disagree with that.
I mean, I'm still not clear on the financing, or not the financing, but the payment part, maybe we can sit down after the meeting, or like come to the town hall.
I really don't know, I don't know that
The
the
payment is
legal
simple,
can...
right? The town takes it down today, they send you a bill, they say the bill is $10,000.
Okay.
You pay the bill, nothing to worry about. You don't pay the bill, the town takes it to the Lake Superior Circuit Court and files what effectively becomes a judgment lien against you.
Okay.
Once that is in place, it acts just like any other judgment. Right? So if you tried to convey it, the title company's gonna pick that up and you're gonna pay it out of closing. The other caveat to that you haven't we've misconnected on this one is a judgment lien's like a mortgage lien, right? If you default on your mortgage company, what's the mortgage company gonna do? They're gonna foreclose. The town has the ability to do that if it wants to.
I guess, so once it goes into that, I feel like this isn't a conversation, once it goes into that, the lien process, do I have 30 days, or how?
No, the judgment lien lasts for 10 years.
See, okay, this is stuff I'm not clear on, I was
Right,
the impression in the
I
last
don't
meeting that if
actually know
it
how
went to
it
the lien, I had 30 days, and they were coming after the house, and that's why I was.
No, the town would have to foreclose on it, just like your mortgage
I
company would
understand,
have to
okay,
foreclose on
okay.
the house.
Yeah, that makes a little more sense. I thought if I didn't have it paid off within 30 days of going to the lien, I was at jeopardy of losing.
No, not
Extra
probably.
order.
Okay, that's why I got
But-
kinda panicked and wanted to pull it off
He
the list.
promised he'd have it done in January.
I mean, if the town thinks
Why
they can
can't
come
we
get it, I
say
just didn't see
something about that? I mean,
any
that's
evidence that they were going to.
We're protected by the town, but we would prefer that he wouldn't have to deal with the 10,000. I mean,
You can't, you either have to, keep the stay and give him the time, or you have to dismiss the stay and put it back to town. I don't think there's a...
Well, you wouldn't even have to dismiss it, Madam Chairwoman, it's just, the stay has expired today,
Right,
right? So it's just, then.
And now it's back to the town base.
Yeah, 'cause technically, right now, unless you extend that stay, that order is back into place, and we proceed status quo as it was before.
Okay.
So, we'd be issuing a demo.
The order's already issued,
Yeah.
it's per his agreement, right? So there is no new demo order or anything.
Oh,
yeah.
Just like every other
The
demo order.
stay expired,
proceeds.
now it's back to basically
Yeah.
on the list to be taken down.
So if there's a motion, that, I mean, I would just make it clear that the stay is not going to be extended, and that this matter, sort of revert back to the town's, demolition list.
All right, I'll make that motion. The stay is not extended.
Okay, I've got a motion, do I have a second?
I second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Rosanna?
Yes.
Ms. Sessauer?
Yes.
Ms. Sheehan?
Yes, carries 3-0.
So where does that leave me? I'm sorry, guys.
That leaves you, if it's back in the town's hands, but if you get to it before us,
Okay,
you get to it before us.
okay.
So if you do it in January, you come in, you get a permit,
Mhm.
take it down, and we didn't take it down, you're not
Okay.
gonna get a lien, and
Okay.
so it's basically whoever gets to it first.
Okay, no problem. Again,
I'm sorry, but that was,
No, no, it's
that's
fine.
that's what I was seeing
there's-
it, correct?
it's just
And
been a lot
again,
of-
just for clarity, I assume that if he comes in for a permit, that Ashley's probably going to hold it until the next.
Hold the permit until we give you a certain
And-
amount of time to have
Yeah.
the permit.
Say that again?
So if you came in on December 31st and applied for the permit, Ashley is not going to give it to you that day. She's going to say, you need to come to the January meeting and tell the board,
Okay.
and then the parameters, the timing parameters will be set from there.
Could we not just tie that up right now and just say if he does come in the meantime, that he has a 30?
But we don't know when the town's getting to it, is the issue.
Yeah, we don't want to overlap or check the
Yeah.
same day or whatever.
Okay. So
Should I
then-
just come to the next meeting and
You
then?
don't, if you go get a permit, you need to come to the next
If I
meeting.
Yeah.
If you
get it,
don't,
okay.
then I wouldn't, because it'll just be, okay?
Okay. I appreciate your guys' help. I'm sorry about the misunderstanding, and I do hope that the people that live in that community can give me a little patience. I know it's an eyesore. I want-
Yeah, it is,
I'm
and
working on
I
it.
hope it comes down sooner than later,
Me
so
too.
we'll just, hopefully you can get to it before we do, because we don't seem to be real fast at that, but, if this one might get pushed, Josh, so,
Okay,
okay?
very good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, have a good holiday. And last, we have 14714 Dewey Street, Urban James Linden.
There's a brand new item on the agenda. It has a report that is completed. It is potentially unsafe, determining based on the board on if it's gonna move to an active item at this time.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Is anybody here for this?
No, this is the.
No, they would have no notification. This is
Yeah.
Oh, they didn't even,
potential.
okay, this is the first time, okay. Gotcha,
Correct.
new report.
So at this point, we would need to make a motion to move this to active unsafe?
Correct.
Yeah, if you're satisfied that the report demonstrates it's unsafe.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to move this to active unsafe.
I second.
And does that motion include a order to appear to the property owner?
Yes, sir, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I've got a motion, and a second, roll call, please.
Ms. Rosanna?
Yes.
Ms. Sessauer?
Yes.
Ms. Sheehan?
Yes, carries 3-0. Update items, are they all pretty well in the same place, Ashley?
Same place, Shane's is still working through the rezone process and site plan with the plan commission. All the rest of them are awaiting demolition. I updated at previous meetings, I budgetarily only have the budget for one. And I will work with Mr. Kubiak and Ms. Sandberg and see if there's an ability to find additional budgetary in my budget for a second half this year.
Okay.
And just to clean up one thing, if I may, the Hefner property, since there's no more stay, it should probably just be moved down to the update item, because it's.
Right, back on
the
that,
unsafe
yeah,
list,
okay,
going when the town can.
okay.
I know we're short on time here, running late, but I mean, whatever we need to do to meet with Ms. Sandberg and whoever else we need to meet with, to
Get that done.
allocate funds towards these, needs to happen as soon as possible.
Right.
I know we have some shifts happening in the town, but, I mean, as soon as we can plan a meeting at the beginning of January, this has to become a priority.
I will get discussions going with them.
Okay.
Madam Chair, you're at the back end of budget time. This is a great time to visit with the clerk and planning for next year.
Prior to January?
Well, you can start any time. You probably will have fund availability at the beginning of the year, and it's a good time to plan.
I'll meet with her tomorrow if I can. I mean, when do you think is,
Well, she needs to finish with the State Board of Accounts first. There's a lot of activity going on.
are you saying that they're more important than me, Mr. Austin?
Never. Yes.
I can work with the board and Ms. Sandberg and see if I can't set up a time.
Okay.
Let's make that happen.
Yeah.
I think we can make time for that. Thank you, ma'am.
Keep me in the loop too.
Absolutely.
Alright. Public comment? Do I have any public comment? Public comment going once?
Pardon my ignorance, okay, so this is public comment towards.
Unsafe.
Unsafe, yes.
Unsafe.
So I quickly last week, or last month, talked to ask you about my neighbor, 14523 Bryan Street, I live in, my name is Donna Corey, I live at 14605 Bryan Street. I bought my house in 1996. I live in the same neighborhood as Colleen, it's a very nice Colleen, and Mr. Austin, you took the words right out of my mouth. My neighbor is Old Cedar Lake. They live in a 598 square foot home.
I got it, 14523 Bryan.
Yeah. I sent emails to the town managers, I called the police, I called the ordinance. I feel their whole environment in our neighborhood brings it down. It kept them very unsafe. The trees are unsafe. There have 4 adults in there, 2 little children. It's a 598 square feet. It has been run down and run down. They illegally put on a back porch for how many animals they have in their house. I've watched the trees fall on my neighbor's garage. They never answered when they were approached with a letter, certified letters about the tree damages. They keep it very unkept. It reminds me of Cedar Lake when I was in high school in the late 70s. They just don't care.
I don't even know, at one point, somebody told me they built a structure.
Right, you're talking about a camper? Yes, I watched them burn down their garage piece by piece. I don't even invite people over to my house anymore. I can't. I'm just so down about looking out. I don't want to put a fence up. Everybody's like, put a fence up. Listen, I love my neighborhood.
Well, you shouldn't have to put a fence up because of your neighbor.
Right, I love the view of the lake. I get a little bit of view of the lake in the fall when the trees are all with no leaves. I love the openness.
Tony, can you take a look at this?
I know people
I think Ashley gave me the address. We've been busy being down one inspector and trying to find out.
I
know.
This one's been a tough one. We've had issues throughout the
I
years.
really feel the people in the house
Years, because we actually, there's people living in it, and it's a.
I know, and it's the dad that owns it, it's the daughter that lives there, none of them work. It's years of watching this.
It is. And
And it
people's
goes
been out
through,
there.
it might get a little bit, because maybe the ordinance person comes by, but then within 2 weeks, it's back to garbage up to here in the garage. There's tons of tires, tons of debris. I mean, they need to live way out in the middle of nowhere where you have a mile-long driveway and no one can see them.
So can we assure her at this point that it's on the list for you to look at? Yeah,
Yes.
Unfortunately, Donna, that's.
I know, you've heard about it, I know, you had talked when you guys
Oh,
out
yeah.
there.
But, no, it's on the
You
list
need
now
to
to
keep
be
bringing it
looked
up,
at.
because it is a problem, and I don't know
I know
why.
Mr. Oshis took the words right out of my mouth when he said, Old Cedar Lake. That's exactly what it looks like. You know, like I said, it just brings me down, really brings me down.
I don't blame you.
But
They're everywhere, unfortunately.
Yes, I know that too, yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Public comment, anybody else for public comment? Public comment?
Good evening, 14513 Morris. Just wanted to go up here and clarify a couple things. A couple statements were made about comments from neighbors and whether they were true or not. Now, my $50,000 was a guesstimate, being in the trades for 40 years now. Excuse me. So that was a guesstimate. So I do apologize if I was off by a few thousand. Secondly, I'd like to also thank Dave for his input on that situation. There's a lot of things covered there, and Dave really did a great job of that. A couple legal things that were not covered. In our last BZA meeting, in our last BZA meeting, we talked a little bit about decisions, when you make a decision, the repercussions that come along after the fact, right? So, And then we talked about, there was about all the things that happened and how it came about to this point. Now, I can remember back to the meeting when we stood here and we talked about that property, and when he was applying, I think at the BZA meeting at that point to get the electric for a building that had 4 variances, they claimed it would never have that. Now, in that meeting, I did go back, got the dates out of my notes, I went back and kind of looked at it. When he applied for that, there was a pretty big advocate sitting back there to get that electric put into that barn. He applied for electric in a barn that had a variance and not have it. One of the main things I was concerned about was some of the comments that were made to me and my wife on our property about what his plans were for the future of the property. Now, I've never deviated from what I told you, and I still don't. From the legal standpoint, Greg, Mr. Parker had brought up a great point about finding out who's responsible and then accountability, and made me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. And so I went home and I said, let me start going through my notes, because as you know, I've been here. So I figured it out when you got the electric. And I remember the big battle, the big argument. My wife was in the room with me, so other people spoke. It wasn't just me. He was granted electric that day on the basis that the house was torn down first. That was the structure here at the meeting. And I remember Greg's last words were, you got a lot of work to do before you get that electric. Didn't use before you get the electric, but the comment was, you got a lot of work to do, and because he was just granted the electric. Well, he ran electric underground, under the street. I don't know how cheap that is. I can only imagine, $5,000, I don't know. And then you figure, my question is, from a legal standpoint, if that was in the writing, and it was discussed at the board level, which should have been put in the writing of that future permit for electric, and yet he had the electric within a couple months, and the house is still standing. Not only did he get the electric, but he moved gas. He's got gas in the barn right now. I'm wondering, did he even pull a permit for that? I don't know.
I don't know.
There's so much on this situation that I'm not going to sit here and drag out now because it's just so tiring. But the fact of the matter is, when he first bought the property, he gave me a tour of the barn before he remodeled it. Then he gave me a tour of the barn with my wife that day after he came up on the property and was describing what he had planned. Now, like I said, 40 years in the trades. I've built homes, commercial. I know what things cost. I mean, he did a really nice job. Rebuilt the inside of the barn, got gas, electric. I don't know. Again, I still don't understand how he was able to do that without getting the house down first. That was something Dave left out, which I was really hoping he would have put that in there. But this goes back to when you make a decision, you can't just think about, you're making a decision for one person asking you for something. He's asking for a variance to step around the rules. And when you make that decision to allow that, all these people sitting out here, they have been here for all this time. You're separating and letting them skirt around the rules, and these people are, hold on, don't interrupt me, please. You're making decisions on one person where everybody else has got to suffer the consequences of those decisions. And the reason I bring this up is because it's decision after decision after decision where sometimes we're working for the applicant, and more so than we work for the residents. That's your job. Your job is to protect the existing people, and the people coming in and ask to skirt around the rules, they got to have a hardship and a pretty hard deal, a pretty big hurdle to jump, right? Now, I heard 2 cases the other night. The first case had nothing but hardship. Second case was a favor, nothing more than a favor. And if we can't be consistent, we're going to end up with this situation over and over and over again, because if you give them the barn first, and then you give them the electric second, and all the penalty is a fine to not follow through with anything else.
Excuse me, Terry, I am going to interrupt now.
Repercussions
Excuse
now,
me.
we have to also understand.
I'm interrupting now. This is not the BZA meeting.
It's not.
I did not have anything to do.
I'm still
None
talking
of
about
these-
the last, on the Hebner property, I'm still talking about that, because all of this stems from if you
You're
didn't make the right
bringing up
decision in the first place.
I didn't,
A lot of
that's
these
got nothing to
things
do with
wouldn't be
this meeting.
happening. What does
Got
that have to
nothing
do
to do
with the
with this
Hebner
meeting.
property?
It's
Talk
got-
about the Hebner property, ma'am.
All right. It's
I mean,
got
listen,
nothing
I've got a
more to
couple
do
more
with
words.
this meeting. Take it up with the BZA.
I'm still on unsafe.
I'm done.
And can I finish, please?
No, I'm done.
And that's why we have the problems we have, ma'am.
Anybody else, public comment? Public comment going once, public comment going twice. This meeting is adjourned at 7:16. Thank you.